Well, so tonight we unravel the social constraints as to women aspirations to presidency. That's what we'll be discussing this evening on Her Say. That before, as a woman, you are accepted politically, you must have been accepted socially. So we'll be looking at some of these constraints and perhaps some of these pluses when it comes to the social aspects of just getting us to understand how best as a country we can chart this conversation of getting women to presidency. Welcome on board. This is TV47 Weekend Edition with me, Linda Alela. It's always good doing this with you. I'll ask or request that you stay tuned for more. But before then, the highlights. Tonight, leaders and Kenyans today joined the family of the late Jaramogi Oginga to commemorate his 30th memorial service.
Kuna huenda walikuwa na scaffold kidogo penye walikuwa naona mpira na ikasababisha majeraha kwa kichwa chake na akaaga. What killed him? Police launch probe into the death of Bungoma student who died in the company of his friends at an entertainment joint. And
sisi kama wafugaji hatukufikiria kama kuna maisha ambayo imebaki wakati mifugo zimekwisha.
Wajir residents are embracing farming as they adapt to the effects of climate change. Welcome back to the broadcast. TV47 Weekend Edition begins right away. Our sign language interpreter is none other than Roda Nyamai. And once again, my name is Linda Alela. Now, the Parliamentary Committee overseeing public hearings on the Affordable Housing Bill is expected to propose amendments incorporating the one unit, one KRA PIN policy per house. This initiative aims to fortify the affordable housing program, preventing it from being manipulated for the benefit of a select few individuals, thereby ensuring that the program aligns with its original purpose. And as Elizabeth Atieno now details, Kenyans are skeptical about the program, saying it will only benefit a few individuals. Take a look.
Saturday marked day 3 of the ongoing public participation forums on the affordable housing project led by the Joint Parliamentary Committee. In Vihiga County, residents questioned why Kenyans are being taxed for the housing project and will later be required to pay before they are granted ownership to their affordable homes.
What happens when mimi nimekatwa hii pesa? Yet I don't want to own a unit. Ama sitaki hii nyumba, lakini nimekatwa pesa kwa muda fulani. Pesa yangu ambayo nimekatwa, will it be shares so that nitakuwa napata dividend, ama pesa yangu, how will I benefit and yet nishakatwa?
Committee Chair Kimani Kuria emphasized that the tax aims to mobilize resources, fulfilling the constitutional mandate for the national government to provide housing. He stressed the need to harmonize the Housing Act and Affordable Housing Bill to avoid overlap.
There is no relationship between the levy and ownership of the house, because the housing levy is a tax. So what happens with every tax is that money is taken into the consolidated fund and is appropriated.
In Kiambu County, locals gathered at St. Francis of Assisi Church in Ruiru and expressed concerns about the affordable housing project. Many fear that only the wealthy will benefit, leaving those facing financial struggles at a disadvantage.
Nyumba msianze kutuwekea kizungu nyingi. Wacha ikue rahisi. Tuambiwe unastahili ulipe kiasi fulani na uchukue nyumba.
Haya, kama ni Nairobi, si tulikuwa Nairobi juzi. Sisi tulibebo na mahuru bado tukisema tunataka nyumba yetu. Nyumba yetu ama namna gani? Na hiyo nyumba tunaihitaji zaidi.
Nataka kununua hii nyumba, lazima kwanza you can pay. If you have the full money you can pay, but if you don't have the full money unaweza weka 10%. Sasa hii 10% inawekwa kwa platform inaitwa Boma Yetu. How secure is this platform? Kwa sababu it's an online platform.
persons with disabilities on their part are advocating for representation on the Affordable Housing Board and accessible infrastructure around the housing project.
So my request is if maybe we can have 5% reserved for persons with disabilities.
Participants proposed clear delineation of roles between the Affordable Housing Board and the National Housing Corporation, underscoring the need to stagger the terms of board members to prevent a simultaneous expiration.
This bill now seeks to ring-fence it so that monies that are collected through the housing levy can only and solely be expensed on the purposes as proposed in the bill.
The joint committee, which commenced hearings on the 17th of January, plans to visit 19 counties before presenting its report to the National Assembly in February. The committee has suggested implementing the one unit, one KRA policy to allay fears of potential cartel interference in the program. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
And now, Wajir County residents have embraced farming as a strategic response to the challenges brought about by climate change. The residents are now engaging in the cultivation of crops such as maize, fruits and vegetables, seeking to safeguard themselves from the negative impact of climate change. Our reporter Sheila Chelangat explored the region and reports on the aspirations of the locals to participate in extensive farming, aiming to make a significant contribution to the nation's food production.
The distant hills signal our arrival at Korondile area in Wajir County. Despite the usual harsh drought conditions, the landscape appears surprisingly lush. The effects of climate change is compelling this pastoralist community to shift towards agriculture.
Sisi kama wafugaji hatukufikiria kama kuna maisha ambayo imebaki wakati mifugo zimekwisha. Tulifikiri kama mifugo ikikwisha hata sisi binadamu tunakwisha.
But it's not just small-scale farming. The residents harbor a grand vision of mechanized, large-scale agriculture. Beneath these impressive Ethiopian highlands lies a groundbreaking pilot project. Over 2,000 hectares were planted before the onset of the heavy rains last year.
This is something we used to read and maybe watch in cinemas, but today we found a live one. It was a dream. And today, it is a dream that is almost realized.
However, the El Niño rains damaged some crops. On the positive side, water harvested in a nearby dam is sustaining this farm. The water is transported from the dam through water bowsers. It is then fed into irrigation channels on the farm. But the transition to farming is not without challenges. Significant rainwater was lost, emphasizing the need for water harvesting plans.
We were talking of El Nino a month ago, killing people and livestock. Where did the water go?
Pest diseases, lack of water and extension services have also hindered the farmers' efforts.
Lakini yale nimebaki nayo ni shamba kama hii ambayo niko nayo. Isipokuwa sasa sina mbegu. Wakati zinakuja sasa sina pesa ya kuenda kununua. Hiyo 250 ya kununua na nini sina. Sasa naona inakuwa ni shida.
Agriculture is devolved. Why is it that Wajir doesn't have a Carlo station? Suppose we would have had a Carlo station to give extension services to these people. All these people you can see were herders. They had sticks. Herding. Where are the sticks? Why are they not working with sticks today? The cows died. And you don't use a stick for maize.
Harvest time is approaching with an estimated 20,000 bags of maize expected from this farm, fostering optimism amongst the locals.
Kulima namna hii hatutaki chakula kutoka nje ulayani kuongojea na kuomba hivi msaada ya chakula. Sisi tunajitosheleza sisi wenyewe.
This community's next hurdle is to utilize the entire 10,000 hectares of land as the next season approaches. This 2,000-acre pilot of maize plantation here in Wajir North just shows what the earth here can do, and residents believe that this could be the hidden food basket that elevates Kenya's food insecurity situation. Sheila Chelangat for TV47 in Korondile, Wajir North.
Thank you, Sheila, for that piece. Now, it was grief and sorrow as Chimoy residents in Baringo County bid farewell to 4 family members who fell victims to banditry attack. The 4 were attacked by bandits while returning home from a pass-out ceremony earlier this month. Residents are now advocating for mandatory disarmament in the North Rift to ensure safety. And as Vera Alberta reports, Baringo Deputy County Commissioner has vowed to implement the shoot-to-kill order for the bandits to safeguard the lives of locals.
Baringo's Deputy County Commissioner Malak Namai has issued a strong warning to suspected bandits, declaring the implementation of a shoot-to-kill order against those terrorizing residents in the area.
And the only solution is to kill you. We are going to kill all bandits. Anybody named as a bandit must be killed. It should be very clear. There's no, hakuna mambo ya kubahatisha, unajua hawa watu watachukuliwa hatua. When you are a bandit, even international law proscribes a bandit is a person who destroys livelihoods.
Namai made this announcement during the burial of a family of 4 whose life was tragically cut short by the bandits.
Ndio hawa watu 6 wamelala. Mtoto ya miaka 2 hako hapa. Yani mwenye hajui kitu yoyote hata hawezi kutofautisha jelasos ni gani na mtu mzuri ni gani.
The family of the deceased expressed their distress over losing 4 family members, including a 2-year-old child, urging relevant authorities to expedite their efforts to restore peace and ensure the safety of locals in the area.
Mimi kupoteza watu 6 na kuzika watu 4 siku moja, hata kama ingekuwa mtu mwingine, kweli utahuzunika zaidi.
Baringo South Member of Parliament Charles Kamuren on his part issued a stern warning to bandits, saying their days are numbered.
Nguse vile vile kama kuna wale wengine wanahusika hata kwa ofisi hata kwa wavi, munaye mamlaka. We are there to support you as the leaders of Baringo. We will never cover anybody who is doing or planning any banditry activity. We will never cover you.
Residents are now appealing to leaders to prioritize the safety of children and youth to prevent further loss of lives in the region by holding perpetrators accountable.
Hii jambo ambayo imefanyika hapa, ningeomba kwamba tuweze serikali waweze kuchukua hatua, wale watu ambao walioa vijana wetu wachunguzwe, ebrastanji watoe ripoti la najua, ili wao wakora washikwe na tusiweze kuweka shida kwa jamii wale wengine.
The community is calling for decisive action to bring an end to the threats and attacks.
All right, and we cross over to Bungoma County, and police in Kandui constituency, that is in Bungoma, are investigating the mysterious death of a 23-year-old boy who was a second-year student at Egerton University. Francis Pepela, that is, met his ultimately death while watching the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations at an entertainment joint in Kandui, with the police now working to unravel the circumstances surrounding his death.
In the heart of Kandui Market lies the Culture, Wines and Spirits Den, an entertainment hub where the late Francis Pepela, a second-year student at Egerton University, spent his final evening watching AFCON matches before tragically meeting his untimely end. Lazarus Pepela, the grieving father, revealed that his son was enjoying the last days of his extended holiday when the unexpected incident occurred at the entertainment joint.
Kulingana na marafiki zake wenye walikuwa na yeye wanasema kuna uenda walikuwa na scaffold kidogo penye walikuwa wanaona mpira na ikasababisha majeraha kwa kichwa chake na akaaga. Kijana wangu alikuwa 23 years old, nilimwambia amekuwa second year Egerton.
Mazungumzo yakatokea ambaye hawakuelewana na wenzake na wakaanza kupigana. Sasa vile walipigana hivyo akajaribu kutoroka. Hiyo ni maelezo kutoka kwa wale ambao walikuwa naye. Sasa baada ya kutoroka haujachuelezea sasa alikufa saa ngapi na alikuwa kitu gani kilimuua.
A community shaken by the incident has expressed deep concern over the runaway insecurity in the region, urging the security agencies to urgently intervene.
Najua hii Kandui imekuwa ni soko ya watu kukufa bila kujua nani amemuua. Kuna mwingine amekufa juzi hapa hivi, ikaleta shida. Nafikiri mlisikia kuna mwingine alipatikana kwa shimo hapo. So watu wa kuua watu hapa Kandui naona kama wanakita mizizi.
2 suspects have been apprehended and are currently being held at Bungoma Police Station as investigations into the matter continues. Meanwhile, in a separate and distressing incident at Sibakala village in Kimilili constituency, a 54-year-old man, Ronald Wekesa, lost his life at the hands of his young brother due to domestic squabble. According to Alan Musamal, the son of the deceased, the tragic event unfolded as the suspect confronted his brother on the road wielding crude weapons, resulting in a fatal stabbing.
Alikuwa na kijiti. Na kijiti alikuwa anataka kuchapa mzee na mimi nikafika katikati. Sasa kwa kanyusha huyu baba yangu mwenye aliwa baba huyu akatoa kisu. Ila alitoa kisu kwenda kumtunga na kisu inaanguka chini.
Huyu shameji yangu akasema akiniona mimi nikienda kwa shamba huko kufanya kazi hataki. Anasema mjawi hawezi akapatikana kwa hii shamba eti anakuja kulima maana anakuja huku kutuua. Sasa tarehe 18 ndiye akatokezea akakuja akasema mchawi sitaki apatikane huko chini, niko ninamuua leo hii ama la si hivyo na uua bwana yake mwenye ameweka mjawi.
Wanji Sostin, TV47, Bungoma.
Now, today, hundreds of people gathered at the Ofafa Hall in Kisumu County to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the passing on of the nation's founding Vice President, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who passed away in 1994. Dignitaries who attended the event included former First Lady Mama Margaret Kenyatta, public service CS, Moses Kuria, governors, church leaders, scholars and other prominent figures who praised Jaramogi as a hero who fervently advocated for democracy and human rights, emphasizing his selfless dedication to these causes. Elizabeth Mutuku with more.
Cannot in any sense be more advanced than our teacher and master, whom I think is much more advanced in political outlook in this country than we are. We are still just in the stages of learning politics from him.
It's a memorial service which saw hundreds of leaders gather to celebrate 30 years since the demise of first Vice President since independence, Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. The commemoration of Jaramogi's anniversary, attended by various leaders, provided a unique insight into the family's naming tradition that had remained undisclosed to many. Mzee Jaramogi Oginga was born in the year 1911 and passing away in the year 1994, is revered for his courageous advocacy for democracy and human rights, his significant contributions to the country's independence, and him the position of the first vice president, a role he held for only 2 years from 1964 to 1966.
Jaramogi the teacher. Jaramogi really wanted people to get education. And he spent a lot of his time and a lot of his money trying to promote education among the Kenyans. At the time he died, there were 54 children in different stages of education. Some were in nursery.
When I met Jaramogi and I became one of the daughters-in-law, he loved me dearly. And I used to say, so this is how those people with fathers feel.
Following his fallout with the first president, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Jaramogi continued with his pursuit for democracy. He is remembered for his pivotal role in the multi-party democracy movement, famously known as the Second Liberation, executed through the Young Turks movement. His first experiences of atrocities under the previous regimes motivated him to pen a book out yet huru.
Time I disagreed with him. I was disagreeing with Jaramogi because I was telling him, Baba, these people have given you too much trouble. You have been in detention and you came out so emancipated and you had lost so much weight because of all the thoughts in prison. Why don't you just leave the politics alone and concentrate on your businesses so that you can revive your businesses? But Jaramogi told me that, my son, I have lived with you all these years, but it appears you don't know me. You don't know the real Jaramogi.
Every leader who took the stage during the memorial had words of admiration for the fallen hero, an astute politician, selfless leader, and foremost, champion of democracy and human rights.
That is very difficult to replicate, but I think the legacy lives, and Kenya is in the right trajectory if we follow the footsteps of Jaramogi Oginga.
But even as we celebrate 30 years of a hero guarded jealously democracy and human rights, this begs the question, are we on the right path? Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Liz, for that. Now, President William Ruto has flipped back to former President Uhuru Kenyatta's footsteps by implementing policies and projects he opposed during his predecessor's reign. Among the policies he opposed was excessive borrowing, a script he is now reenacting after the International Monetary Fund and unlocked 110 billion shillings loan this month for Kenya, with the government expected to increase taxes to meet loan repayment demands. Apollo Kamau reports on a president finding it hard to get out of his predecessor's shadow.
In the lead-up to his election victory, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua blamed their predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta for excessive borrowing and leaving the country strung in high debt.
Unajua rais amekuta Kenya imefilisika. Na mimi nilisema pale Kasarani wakasema mimi ni mjeuri. Nikasema tumekuta store hata panya ametoroka, hakuna kitu ya kukula. Sasa huyu rais ameanza chodo mpya na ameanza kupanga Kenya pole pole vile Mwai Kibaki alipanga. Sasa mmeona barabara ndio hii.
1 year, 4 months down the line, economic realities appear to have sunk in, with Ruto flipping back to the Kenyatta script.
What we are seeing with President Ruto is a continuity. Just the same thing Uhuru Kenyatta did when he got into office and had to continue some of the policies that President Kibaki had. Ruto has to. Because remember the issue of taxes, the president has been very categorical. He inherited an economy that was based on debt.
Today the world is operating under very serious strain. There's just so much a president of a country can do today. So the limitation Ruto is facing makes his achievement pale when you compare to what Uhuru Kenyatta did. Uhuru Kenyatta had money to do these projects. You can say he overborrowed, but he had money.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, recently agreed to provide Kenya with 150 billion shillings. A significant portion of this credit facility will be used to repay the 312 billion shillings Eurobond, which is due in June. This will push Kenya's public debt to over 10.2 trillion shillings. Consequently, the 2024-2025 budget will witness a rise in taxes to meet debt obligations. This contradicting the president's promise to expand the government's revenue base through improved tax collections.
If you borrow beyond what you have now, there will be distress very soon. So I don't think the president can, in my own thinking, come up with any serious flagship project until the economy, global economy, stabilizes. And that's why I'm saying, the sooner the president knows what is open to him is politics, the better.
The Affordable Housing Project and the National Hospital Insurance Fund, renamed Social Health Insurance Scheme, are also part of Kenyatta's Big Four agenda. The housing agenda has put the president on a collision course with the judiciary, reminiscent of his predecessor's strained relationship with former CJ David Maraga.
Part of the problem with the housing project is the understanding, just pure understanding from the public of what President Ruto is trying to say or trying to do. Second, of course, there is a confusion about how that levy has been set up.
I don't think the president can succeed with the housing project until there is a buy-in by the people of Kenya. The people of this country must accept it's a good thing for them. And they are the ones who will drive it. It's not even the president. Let them just own it.
We are very, very happy with the president. The president is purely implementing what we used to have as Jubilee agendas. Just look at the housing projects. That was an agenda of Jubilee.
The Petroleum Development Fund, designed to stabilize fuel prices, mirrors heavy borrowing from the Kenyatta administration's fuel subsidies, despite denials by EPRA. The National Dialogue Report, pending Parliament's approval after the lengthy December recess, appears to resurrect the Building Bridges Initiative BBI, proposing the creation of a Prime Minister's post and an official leader of the opposition. During the campaigns, Ruto opposed these positions, deeming them a waste of taxpayers' money.
Tuambia ati wanataka kubadilisha katiba, waongeze vyeo ya viongozi, waongeze mamlaka ya viongozi, ati waanzishe rege tena. Sisi tunawaambia mambo ya vyeo na mamlaka ya viongozi, marafiki zetu itangojea. Wangoje kwanza tubadilishe uchumi.
The multi-billion Huduma project, introduced in 2019 by the Jubilee administration to harmonize registration of persons and declared illegal by the High Court, is now Maisha number and will cost 1 billion shillings. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Thank you, Apollo, for that. Now, residents of Maganda Settlement Scheme in Jomvu constituency, Mombasa County, have been forced to demolish their houses. That is due to the impending construction and renovation of the meter gauge railway. This preemptive action was taken before the government's official demolition. Expressing dissatisfaction with the move, the affected families have raised concerns about the Land Commission's compensation process. They claim their properties were undervalued and contended that their land had been overlooked in the compensation assessment, as Paul Muniu details.
In an attempt to mitigate potential substantial losses in the face of possible government-ordered demolitions, locals are fervently safeguarding essential assets like windows, steels and even doors.
Ile ni investment ya mtu alikuwa shaiweka katika akili yake. Yajua nina kiwanja changu mahali fulani, kuna siku nitakwenda nitajenga nitakapopata nafasi. Leo kiwanja kile kichukuliwe na mtu asilipwe.
Families long established in these settlements now face displacement to make room for the meter gauge railway project. The renovation initiative aims to connect the SGR terminus in Miritini to the Mombasa Central Railway Station, disrupting the lives of those who have peacefully inhabited the area for years.
Sisi hatupingi mradi. Sisi tunapendelea sana mradi. Ila dhuluma tunaona iko mbele yetu inatuangazia macho. Na ni kwamba unapatiwa pesa ya development kama ni nyumba kama ni mti, lakini pesa ya ardhi kwenye award letter imeandikwa 00.
The existing rail infrastructure will serve SGR passengers commuting to Mombasa City and other points along the way. The government plans to establish 4 additional stations between Miritini and Mombasa Central Railway Station. Despite the government's release of 1.1 billion Kenyan shillings for compensation through the Lands Commission, the compensation process has been marred with controversy, claiming that the valuation of their land was overlooked.
Hiyo pesa tulopewa ni kidogo, haifai hata kununua kiwanja. Sasa sisi tutakwenda jenga wapi?
Hebu tuache mambo ya corruption. Hapa nasema ni corruption na inatawala nyoyo zetu. alafu tunapelekana na watu mbio waondoe nyumba zao haraka haraka. Waende wapi na kabla mjatulipa ardhi?
The affected residents argue that the funds provided were designated solely for development, disregarding the rising costs associated with lands and construction.
Naenda kuchenga nini? Sinaenda kukondisa? Ndio nianze maisha mengine ya kukondisa na nilikuwa nimeingia kwangu. Hii kitu imeniuma roho.
Pati yenyewe itakuwa imepanda. Chuma yenyewe tunanunua na 14. Uwanja ukienda kutafuta kwa sababu umetoka kwa mradi wa reli, unaambiwa milioni 1 kununua kiwanja. Hiyo milioni 1 hujapewa.
They are now appealing to both the county and the national governments for intervention, seeking compensation that aligns with their true extent of their displacement. Paul Monio, TV 47.
And this is TV47 Sports News with KilikBet, giving you a chance to claim exclusive rewards like Mbuzi, airtime, cooking oil, bus fare and other prizes. There is also a fully expensed paid trip to Mombasa Beach Hotel. To participate, send the word flight 47 to 24550 and you stand a chance to win amazing prizes. And now let's get to the sports story of the day and of the stories. KCB RFC recorded its 6th consecutive win of the season after beating varsity lads Strathmore 36-11 in a tight match at the KCB Sports Club Ruaraka this evening. The Bankers asserted their dominance from the onset, with Peter Kilonzo scoring a try 2 minutes into the match dubbed Jerry Olola Derby in honor of the late rugby star who featured for both KCB and Strathmore Leos. Tries from Peter Kilonzo, winger Austin Sikutua and captain Griffin Musela gave KCB a comfortable 17-0 win against their opponents at the interval as the away side struggled to break the solid the second half of the match. The Curtis Olago-led Chargers scored a penalty try before Kolian Pasinan's try that took the match away from Leo's reach. Brian Wahinya scored KCB's last try of the game to hand the Bankers another routine win in the Kenya Cup.
Yes, the strategy was to we just go hard on them, because mostly if you give your opponents a chance to come at you, like we did in the second half, you can see what happened. So strategy always, you go fast, you go hard. The next step is always, we always go for the win. We are going to go hard. We appreciate all our opponents and we respect them, and we are going to come hard at them. The fans are our always. We are 23 in the squad. Our fans make us 24, 26. You get. Without our fans, I think the fans just give us the psyche to play on and push on. Every day they talk to us. Some of them come and watch the training. We love them.
Yes, the depth is good. We've been building it for quite some time, and we are seeing the fruits starting to show now. With every game, you have different strategies. One game at a time, as usual. 5 out of 5 is good.
Now, Kenya's Cycling Federation, in partnership with Loop Digital and a Money Project, have today launched the 2024 Loop Safari Gravel Series, a 4-leg cycling series to be held at Tatu City, Iten, Naivasha and Vipingo. The series will kick off on February the 4th at Tatu City before heading to Iten in March. It will then continue at Hell's Gate in Naivasha in June in the flagship event on the calendar, which will also be part of the International Cycling Union UCI's prestigious Gravel World Series. The Loop Safari Gravel Series will conclude with a coastal event at Vipingo in September.
Mostly in charge in partnerships and looking for ways we can just collaborate with potential partners into growing cycling as a sport in Kenya. So we are here today to launch the gravel race, which is going to be a series that is going to be in the calendar for the bigger cycling events in the whole calendar for the UCI. UCI is the world governing body for cycling. And one of the things that we primarily opted to go into gravel racing is because it's an endurance sport, and the way Kenya has been built, we have very good landscapes, and our off-roads can be a good challenging route for people to be using. And some of these things, people coming in here for tourism and incorporating them with sports is a beautiful thing that can be able to help Kenya and also help the sport grow.
Seeking to change the landscape of the sport of cycling with two main aims: to increase and improve the inclusivity of cycling for the non-traditional nations, and in particular to support the development and give opportunities to East African men and women to compete at the top level of the sport. So with that in mind, we have a professional team who we send out racing across Europe and the